right there. Trigger Spoon Jr. That feels like another stud. See if we can land this one. That would be cool. 20 feet on the Trigger Jr. Man, that thing is fighting. You know what? I'm going to let this other line get tangled. If the other line needs to get tangled, it needs to get tangled because I've been losing fish today, and I don't like that. So we're going to concentrate 1,000,000% on landing this guy. Just got to make a big crescent-shaped circle here and get this fish out in front of me. Whoop! Nice fish. Nice brown. I think it's a brown. Oh, big fish. Yes, right there. Woo! Oh, beautiful cutthroat. Wow. Couldn't lay off that Trigger Spoon Jr. 20 feet deep. What a beauty. Man, oh man. Look at that amazing trout. Who says you got to go to Pyramid Lake to catch cutthroat? Look at that beautiful fish. Man, what a dandy trout. Jumped all over that orange Trigger Spoon Jr. We're going to get this guy back in the water and get on with our troll. There he goes. Whoop. So, rods, reels, and line. Okay, I really don't want to talk about specific makes and models. My rods are great. My downrigger rods, top notch. My lead core rods, one of a kind, totally awesome. But I don't want to talk about specific lines. I want to talk more about preparation and philosophy. First thing you want to do is you want to use realistic tackle, okay? If you want to cover the entire trolling spectrum, it's not realistic to go out here and try to fish with 4-pound test. That's a recipe to lose a big fish and to fight big fish that you do land too long, and if you want to release them, they're just not going to make it because they're completely and totally exhausted, okay? So what you're looking for is gear that gives you the ability to land a big fish while still making, small fish fun to catch. We could go out here, we could trout troll with marlin tackle and we would land fish, but none of them would be very much fun to catch because the gear would overpower them. So, you want to walk that line between having something that makes small fish fun to fight and it makes it realistic to land a big fish. The question I always ask myself every day is this rod and reel ready to land a 10-pound trout? Could I take it down to the California Delta and land a 15-pound striper on it? If the answer is no, there's something wrong with my gear, okay? Terms of the action on the rods, that's personal preference. Some guys prefer a really fast action rod. I like kind of a medium to medium fast action rod. Some guys prefer a really soft action rod, okay? Just make sure that you have a rod that you feel is capable of landing a big fish. Make sure you have good fresh line on the rod, and in terms of leader material, you always want to use fluorocarbon. It's not necessary to use it every day, but how would you know? Some days it's absolutely critical. For the guys out there that don't know what I'm talking about, fluorocarbon line, fluorocarbon leader material reflects light at roughly the same rate as water. Therefore, it's basically invisible to the trout and other fish. That's very important. Some days, if you're not running with fluorocarbon leader material, you're simply not gonna get hit. Other days, doesn't matter, but again, how would you know? I run 8 to 10 pound test leader material because I'm splitting the difference between fine diameter and maximum lure action. I've tried 12 pound. It kills the action of the lures too much. I seldom go below 8. It's just too light to consistently land big fish on when you're on the troll. when you're pulling, you know, multiple lines, when you're going to keep on moving after you hook the fish, and you need to be able to land an 8 or a 10 or a 12-pound fish from a moving boat. That's why we use 8 and 10-pound test leader material. It's proven. You can look at the videos here on the channel. We land some tremendously large trout here at Collins Lake and at other lakes. So make sure your tackle is up to the task. Reels, I like a fairly high-speed reel. Sometimes you need to fish way behind the boat, and when that happens, when I want to reel in and change lures, I want to reel in quickly. I don't want to reel for 2 minutes to get it in because I'm running a reel that has a 3-to-1 gear ratio. 5-to-1 is about right. It's also great if you get a big hard fighting fish on, say the fish that live up at Eagle Lake, California or something like that, trout that are capable of charging the boat and developing slack in the line. You want to be able to keep up. You want to not allow that fish to develop slack in the line. Now, if you're up at a lake like Lake Shasta or somewhere like that, where you've got to go deep with a downrigger, you might be 80 feet behind the boat and 100 feet down. That's 180 feet of line. Had to do that math right there. That's 180 feet of line. So a fast reel definitely, you know, allows you to keep your bait in the water longer because you're spending less time reeling in and more time fishing. Okay. Final point about reels. Line counters are awesome. They help you keep track of how much line you have out, you know, stuff like that. It tells you when you're fighting a fish how close the fish is to the boat. If you're out with your partner, maybe it's windy, maybe there's boat traffic, you're fighting a fish and you're like, okay, Charlie, no problem. He's still 90 feet back. Okay, Charlie, get on the net. He's 20 feet back. It's good to know how much line you have out. So I really like line counter reels or some other means of determining how much line you have out, like metered braid. That will help you understand how much line you have out. But line counters can't be beat. They're totally awesome. The final attribute you're looking for in your reel is a smooth drag that you can dial down very, very light. Sometimes we're out here, we're trolling 3.5 miles an hour. If you're not running a light drag and the reel doesn't have a smooth drag, if you hook a 10 or 12 pound fish, you know, going 3 miles an hour, it's going to snap your line. Pure and simple. The drag has to be smooth and you have to be able to dial it down pretty light. You can tighten it up once you have the fish on the line and you slow the boat down a little bit. But on the strike, a lot of times if we didn't have light, smooth drags, we would lose the fish before we even got started fighting it, okay? So those are critical components to your overall trout outfit. Finally, beyond a quality reel with a quality drag, a rod that you're comfortable with, a rod that you think you can land a big fish on, and fresh line, you want to pay very close attention to details. You want to check your line for nicks and abrasions constantly. You want every knot you tie to be perfectly tied. If it's not perfectly tied, retie it. If you have a nick or a bad knot or anything like that, guess which rod a big fish is going to strike? That one, and you're going to be sorry. We lost a big fish actually right here in this spot a couple days ago because I was trolling fast. I was trolling my crippled minnow spoons, and somewhere during the day our leader had developed a nick. We had a tremendous strike. We hooked the fish, we reeled in, and the leader was gone. That's because somewhere along the way it got nicked. I neglected to check it, even though I'm a fanatic about checking it, and it cost us. And it cost us big time on a slow day when it would have been really nice to put a big fish in the boat. So attention to details. If it doesn't look right, change it. If the knot's not right, retie it. All that attention to details equals extra fish. And when you're catching extra fish, that means you're going to be landing more big fish, because the more fish you put on the end of your line, the more big fish you're going to hook, the more big fish you're going to land. So that's really all there is to it in terms of rods and reels and line. Go with quality equipment. And that doesn't mean the most expensive equipment you can buy. Just evaluate your equipment and always ask yourself the question, can I land a really big trout on this gear? If the answer is yes, you're set up for success. If the answer is no, you've got some changes to make. And then when you get out on the water, details, details, details. Look for those abrasions. Check those knots. Make sure the drag is loose. You don't want to set the drags early in the morning and find out you hit the drag and then get a big fish on and he snaps your line. So That's my philosophy on rods, reels, line, and tackle. You know, that is what you're gonna fight to fish with. That is your link to the fish. That's what you're gonna use to wear the fish down. It's absolutely critical that you've got an outfit that is ready to fight and land a really big trout.